You'd also marathoned 1 to 3 as well beforehand,
yeah, 1
right?
to 3. Yeah, and it's all I've been watching is just John Wick killing a lot of people. A lot of Keanu Reeves and Judo throwing people.
The world of John Wick makes no sense at all. There's all these fucking arbitrary rules, and they got fucking marked. They pay with coins. Like, what is the coin economy of John Wick?
Yeah, everything seems to cost like a coin.
Do you get change for the coin? Like, if you get a coffee in the John Wick universe and you pay with the coin, do you get any change?
There's a scene in this movie where I came in my pants when I was watching it.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm like...
And it wasn't the part where John Wick wrapped his legs around multiple victims, as you mentioned earlier.
It's probably one of those parts.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Asian Blokes Podcast, a podcast where we talk about Asian pop culture, films, TV shows, comic books, anime, music, food, video games, whatever we're feeling at the time. Really, my name is Dan with H, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Harvey. Hello, Tavi.
Hey, Dan.
What's up?
We got Boon back on the show again.
Oh, hi, Boon.
Hey, what's up? I gotta say, Dan, you are getting really good at that intro. Like,
thanks,
stupidly
man.
Good.
It's only taken fucking 70 episodes, but I got there.
Yeah.
2 years. Nearly 2 years.
It was delivered like a Busta Rhymes style rap, so you gotta acknowledge that.
Sick. That's what I'm going for.
Is that blackface now?
No. I'm literally a podcast host in my house. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. We can leave that joke in, right?
I don't know if anyone's going to get that.
A lot of people have seen Smiling Friends, though, man. It's pretty popular.
All right, cool.
It's a deep cut.
I'm sure the people that listen to us.
I mean, it's the best of deep cuts. For sure.
Nah, people will recognize it.
We are, of course, going to talk about John Wick Chapter 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pew pew.
I haven't spoken to you guys about this movie yet.
Yeah. We haven't shared our opinions really, aside from a few text messages here and there. But I'm interested to learn about what you guys think of John Wick Chapter 4. So we're going to talk about this film non-spoilers first, and then we'll give you a spoiler warning before we start dropping spoilers. Yeah, I mean, it's John Wick. It's the fourth installment of the John Wick franchise. We pick up pretty much where the third film left us. John has been excommunicated pretty much after Winston shot him off the roof of the Continental New York. He's kind of... I think he went into hiding with Lawrence Fishburne in the Boweries, right?
For a little bit,
Yeah, for a little
training and
bit,
healing.
punching a dummy of some kind just to train.
Punching a wooden dummy really freaking loudly. The whole cinema was shaking, and this is like the first scene, right?
Yeah,
so
it's quite an entrance. And then he pretty much goes on a revenge spree for the rest of the film, right?
So on a global trip, goes to like Osaka, Berlin, and France.
Yep, and somewhere in the Middle East. I think it's Morocco, because in the third movie he's in Morocco.
Yeah, he goes to the Middle East.
So
a lot of people die in this movie. Lots and lots of people
got a high
die
body
in
count,
this movie.
as is tradition with John Wick movies.
I mean, I watched this movie twice, like on the day of the release and the day after. That's how much I enjoyed this movie.
You'd also marathoned 1 to 3 as well beforehand, right?
1 to 3. Yeah, and it's all I've been watching is just John Wick killing a lot of people. A lot of Keanu Reeves and Judo throwing people. And wrapping his legs around people and flipping them over and then shooting them in the head and then reloading while holding a guy down and shooting another guy and then finish reloading and then blowing that guy's head off. It's fantastic stuff, man.
Yeah, it is. Well, the John Wick franchise, it's had a pretty interesting trajectory because John Wick, the original John Wick, is pretty low key, right? Like, and then it's just about a guy getting revenge on another guy and his dad, I guess. But then it kind of, the second one introduces all this lore, like, kind of develops the world a bit more. And the third one kind of escalates that even further. And I guess the fourth one escalates it even further. So it's kind of like just been an escalation of world building and violence.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, bigger budgets, I guess progressively from each movie would equate to, in theory, better action. Not always the case.
Yeah.
At least more action.
Yeah, at least more action. And I think it's been well documented with this movie that it's pretty long, right? It's like 2 hours and 40 something minutes. So you've got to pack in to make a decent movie. You hope you fill that in with a lot of really good quality action. And I mean, like, sounds like you feel like it ticked all the boxes in that regard.
Oh, definitely. Like, there's a scene in this movie where I came in my pants when I was watching it.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm like,
and it wasn't the part where John Wick wrapped his legs around multiple victims, as you mentioned earlier.
It's probably one of those parts.
It involves the shotgun and dragon breath bullets.
Oh, yeah. That's quite good. Did you like it as much as Tabi seems to have liked it?
For sure. I think at the time when I was watching it, I was sitting next to Tavi. Tavi had already seen it at that point.
You got the cum backsplash.
The post cum. But during that time, I think there was multiple periods where I was like grabbing him and going, "This is the best movie I've ever seen." Obviously, hyperbole. But I think in terms of enjoyment for a film, like in the moment, it's gonna be hard to top something like this because there's just so much action. So much action done really, really well. Like, I didn't think they'd be able to fill up 2 hours and 40 minutes worth of movie. But apparently there's like, I don't know, like 15 action scenes or something like that, something stupid like that. So, and every single one of them is pretty memorable. There's some more memorable than others, for sure. Yeah, I would say that if you're a John Wick fan, you will probably see this movie in the same vein as maybe the first one, because I feel like a lot of John Wick fans really love the first movie, and then 2 and 3 are kind of interchangeable. I think number 4 really kind of, it kind of takes you back to a lot of the original John Wick elements.
What do you mean by that?
Maybe like it brings back a lot of the more. I feel like it's a lot more emotional compared to 2 and 3.
Okay.
It brings back also like a family element as well, which didn't really exist in 2 and 3, even though it's not necessarily tied to John Wick's character directly. It does introduce the family elements.
You're talking about Donnie Yen's character, right? With the and his
correct.
daughter.
Okay. Kane.
What a great character as well. By the way.
Totally. Yeah.
Like, just the design of like a blind assassin, and putting Donnie Yen in those shoes is just that's just pitch perfect, isn't it?
It's true.
Donnie Yen,
but he's actually played a blind assassin before in Rogue One.
Yeah, you're right.
He's kind of like done that thing before. But as you mentioned, like Donnie Yen is just a freaking badass, and he rarely misses. Well, he's at that point where he's like so iconic that like it doesn't really matter like what he does.
I'm pretty sure he brought his own wardrobe to this film as well. I'm pretty sure he just rocked up in his fucking uncle outfit. And he's like, I'm not changing. Yeah, I'm keeping my sunglasses on. You're gonna have to write it into the story.
I mean, I can imagine him walking on set and like, I mean, if you're an action director and you're an action I guess crew member and you see Donnie Yen walk on the set for the first day, you're probably going to be like, holy shit, it's Donnie Yen, right? So I mean,
especially on the set of Mulan.
I actually forgot. Is he even in that?
He's not in Mulan.
He's in Mulan.
No.
I think Jet Li.
My mum was watching Mulan like the day after, and I caught a glimpse of it. And I'm like, man, this movie's fucking horrible.
Donnie Yen is in Mulan?
In this fucking movie. He's the general. I'm like, what are you doing here, Donnie? Get out of there. What a terrible film. But
perhaps
anyway,
a rare miss from Donnie.
Or maybe he's like Adam Driver, where like you can do a shit movie and it doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter. You can't really tarnish Donnie Yen's reputation. He's just that iconic.
But yeah, he brings all of his charisma to this film, to John Wick 4. Yeah, just having a lot of fun as well.
Speaking a lot of English too, because like don't really remember many movies where he speaks a lot of English. Not to say that he's got a lot of lines.
He has a big role in this movie, like a much bigger role than I thought. Yeah,
I didn't expect that personally. I thought he'd be like more of like, you know, a bit part character, kind of cool to have.
Like Scott Adkins's role in this film, like he appears for a scene and then he's out.
But no, like if you're a Donnie Yen fan, like you're gonna probably love this movie even more because like he's in it for,
I'd say 60% of the movie.
He's one of the main characters. Let's just say that. And he doesn't disappoint. I mean, it's Donnie Yen. He's got a track record of doing cool shit.
Yeah, I think the increased budget did bring a few more stars to the table. Like the third one is pretty low key in terms of casting. Like you've got your
Mark Dacascos.
Mark Dacascos is in there.
The greatest actor
I know,
of all
Tommy.
time.
Also the cast of The Raid is in there as well. Yes, I know.
True.
But this one has like Hiroyuki Sanada. It's got Scott Adkins as mentioned.
Yeah, I forgot that was Scott Adkins.
Scott Adkins is one of those actors that's kind of like a little bit under the radar from the mainstream, but if you watch action movies, like...
Yeah, he's in a lot of shit,
Scott Adkins' name is a regular in a lot of really good action movies, and he's gotten progressively better. I think when he first started in like this action movie space, he was kind of just the guy that could do like really cool
like
kicks.
Kickboxing or something. Like a British Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It's kind of like the guy that you bring in that can be like the nemesis or the villain that has like a cool fighting style and can do stunts as well. But now, like, I mean, like, I think he's actually like increased his acting chops and I guess his reputation and like, I think when you see Scott Adkins associated with any movie now, it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be a high quality action production, potentially. So, I mean, I'm just giving him some love because he has actually been around for a while and he's been in a shitload of movies. Yeah, and I feel like it's cool to see him like in this John Wick franchise because, I mean, a lot of people see it as like the standard bearer from an action movie perspective. Especially in a contemporary setting, for sure, anyways.
And he's doing some interesting stuff in this film. He's wearing a fat suit. He's doing some fat guy karate.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I really enjoyed his performance in this movie.
He was awesome, man.
I haven't seen... Like, I've seen Scott Adkins a lot in other films, but none of which are particularly that memorable. He's pretty memorable in Expendables 2. I guess, as Jean-Claude's sidekick villain. But I think this is the first time I've seen him really like disappear into a role and I guess act and have a bit of fun with it. Yeah, because he plays like the kind of like kingpin character. That whole scene is very like comic book. Like it's the typical like John Wick rave where like people just dancing around other people getting killed.
It's not just John Wick, man. It's like a action movie like trope almost like. I mean, not to spoil anything, but there's a very important action sequence that happens in Berlin involving a lot of techno music.
I think you can talk about the action sequence without spoiling the film. It's just, it's a club shootout, basically.
Yeah, it's a club shootout. I mean, and it reminded me a lot of Blade. I mean, I think I always think of Blade when I see these club shootouts with like, really hard techno music. That's kind of like doof, 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 doof. That's like so Blade to me. And I mean, Germany is like the techno capital of Europe. So kind of really fit the bill there. But Scott Adkins, I don't know what he actually hasn't been in that many good movies, but like.
He's a quantity over quality kind of guy.
Yeah. But it was good to see him in this role and actually play it quite well and like have them utilize his ability as like a martial arts guy as well, because I think he started in these movies as purely like a stunt martial art guy that couldn't act at all and now he's
he's monologuing and shit.
Exactly. So and his character is pretty somewhat memorable, as you said, kingpin kind of character. Fights kind of like Bob from Tekken.
I like that he wasn't just another guy that's good at fighting. I like that they gave him this quirk of like being a fat guy.
And he didn't
being
fight like a fat guy either.
No, and that's the beauty of it. Like I was really hoping to see some acrobatic fat guy stuff, and it delivered that.
Kind of was,
That's cool. Really cool stuff. He's got a really funny death as well. Spoilers.
Hey, spoilers!
It's just really funny. I'll cut that out. Don't worry. Don't even worry about it.
There's not going to be a spin-off with this guy? Damn it.
But yeah, that was a fun scene.
There's a lot of new characters in this one.
Shitloads of new characters.
Yeah.
And actually, like, memorable and likable characters as well.
Yeah. All the characters are good. I mean, like, you've got Nobody. He's like this assassin that is trying to kill John Wick, but only at a very specific,
super specific price.
Super specific price. Then you've got in the Osaka section, you've got Hiroyuki Sanada, who's like another like master and classic Japanese actor, and then you've got Rina Sawayama, who I've heard of like musically. This is her debut acting.
Yeah, her first feature film,
and she does pretty well. And yeah, like her music is really cool. Like I'd only started listening to it after John Wick because I'm like, I've heard about her.
My partner's a fan. She's a bit of a musical chameleon, huh? Like she does a bit of everything.
I'd never heard of her like ever, like before this movie.
I think she's pretty niche.
Yeah, she does like highbrow pop, I would say, and she spans like a lot of different genres. Yeah, you should check her out. It's actually like really good music. Yeah, she seems like a very dedicated person to like jump into such a film as John Wick, which would be very physically demanding. And yeah, what are the new characters? Like, I mean, you got some returning. You've obviously got, Winston and Sharon as well. They come back into the fray.
You've got the Marquis.
The Marquis.
Bill Skarsgård plays the Marquis, a deliciously French villain.
Yes. Yeah. Like, so typically villainous. Like, but he's actually weirdly young. Like, I feel like in a lot of these movies, like, the main villain is kind of like an older guy who's kind of been around in this instance, maybe been around the high table a long time, but he looks like he's like, I don't know, mid-20s or whatever he is.
Yeah. Well, the villain for the third
one,
the
Adjudicator's pretty young.
Yeah, the Adjudicator.
They're young too, I suppose. Well. Yeah.
I think it kind of makes them like more annoying.
Yeah. He's like really
more
pompous.
hateful. Yeah, because you've got these screen legends like Donnie Yen and Hiroyuki Sanada and Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne, and then like the contrast of these, I would say, young characters that are kind of like bossy and kind of like think they're all that. It's kind of like, oh, you motherfucker! I can't wait till like John Wick puts a bullet into your face.
It's true.
Kind of
it does.
So it's really
It does make you wish they will die a painful death later in the movie.
He checks all the boxes of like a easy to hate villain. He's
for sure.
He's young. He's snooty. He's French.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe like all these young kind of main villains in these John Wick movies kind of create more of a mystique almost around the high table, because it's like, why are they sending like these young guys to kill John Wick? Why are these young people like the head honchos of this, this like underground society that is meant to be like super mysterious, but then you're sending like 20-somethings to like track him down and kill him. But I mean, it works well. I feel like it works well.
I mean, the world of John Wick makes no sense at all. There's all these fucking arbitrary rules, and like they got fucking they pay with coins. Like, what is the coin economy of John Wick?
Everything seems to cost like a coin.
Do you get change for the coin? Like, if you get a coffee in the John Wick universe and you pay with the coin, do you get any change? Or
is there like a exchange rate or a stock market where like the value of the coin goes up and down? Who fucking knows? Who decides this?
Yeah,
that's true. Because like in like number 2 or number 3, because he pays a coin to get like 9 buddies like for the cleaners, And then like he's at the bar at one point, and he pays 1 coin for 2 drinks. I'm like, it's quite a steep price hike.
Maybe the coins are different, man.
That must be like some damn good, some fucking damn good. Like there must be like some high level alcohol that they're drinking.
It's like a non-sensical John Wick universe, man. Like, it doesn't matter.
What?
Like.
It actually doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. Like I have a few like kind of these like I guess it's a screenplay issues with this movie, but like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it's John Wick and it's entertaining. Like you can forgive everything.
What? It's not the perfect movie.
Yeah, like there's a lot of plot holes in this movie. There's a lot of things that just can't happen, but it doesn't. Like John Wick is just one of those kind of, even though critics love this movie, it's almost like kind of screenplay or critic proof with just how like good the action sequences are. Like for sure there's so many, if you sit and watch it and nitpick, you can pick a lot of things like why doesn't he just get killed now, like why are they doing the typical Bond villain kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it's just like you're watching some like really cool action scenes that are done really well. And it's like the kind of action that us three like particularly love, like lots of gunfights, lots of martial arts, lots of violence, none of that like, pussy ass, like not showing blood kind of.
It's not like a CGI fest as well.
It's not a CGI fest.
I loved that about this movie. Yeah. I liked that it was set in actual cities, and then you could recognize a lot of the landmarks. They used... Yeah. It felt like they used a lot of, real sets as opposed to CGI. The movie has a style, right? It's got a lot of the same kind of look to it in terms from a cinematography perspective. So I couldn't tell whether it was in a studio or on site, but at least they call out to a lot of these places that are real. And I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, as soon as they showed like the Osaka card, like the titles of Osaka, I was like, Hiroyuki Sanada's going to be in this movie, isn't he? And sure enough, it's like rocking up into his hotel. Even just like Paris, like everybody's seen Paris like a billion times in movies. Everybody, even if you haven't been there or not interested in like French culture, you know what Paris is. But I don't know, having been there myself, I felt like they portrayed the city like really, really well, especially like near the Sacré-Cœur and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of people just getting hit by cars. The Paris experience, just getting hit by cars.
I went to semi-spoiler alert. There's a massive... Oh, this is in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler. There's a massive action scene around the Champs-Élysées, which involves a lot of cars, right? And it's funny because when I went to Paris, we went there probably around the same time. It was dark at nighttime, and we stood in kind of the same spots where these fight scenes were happening. So seeing them happen on screen, like having kind of experienced it in the same, I guess, time period, same, I guess, cadence, I suppose, from a vibe perspective, I found it like just really cool that it was a real scene. Whereas like a lot of, I suppose, action movies nowadays, the trap is kind of to fall into doing like green screen CGI for a lot of this kind of stuff, right? So
Fast 9.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Stuff like that. So seeing stuff on an actual like live set to this scale was just like jaw dropping to me, and really added to my enjoyment of the film. Really.
Yeah. It's like a post-COVID situation as well. I think like we've been watching a lot of films that due to COVID has had to use volumes and green screens more. Depend on that technology, but now that we're out of it, it is good to see real places again.
A lot of Marvel movies too, perhaps, but superhero movies, some good, some bad. But
it's definitely like the John Wick franchise has definitely reinvigorated the action genre.
Definitely.
And, like props to Keanu, because I think this is the second time that he's reinvigorated the action genre. Like back in the Matrix days, I reckon that did it as well.
Yeah.
So he's it's definitely got a lot to do with the success of this franchise. I know he's quite hands-on as well in the production side of things. But yeah, the director as well, Chad Stahelski, being of a stunt background, you know, he definitely knows what he's doing.
He's done all 4 of them, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Chad Stahelski, yeah. He's only done like John Wick movies and one other movie.
Wow.
I don't remember.
That's a good effort. I mean, like,
yeah.
to have you, like, one of the greatest action movie franchises of all time.
Yeah, I think his love of like action cinema definitely shows in these films. I think he is probably like of the same taste of action of like as us. I reckon like that kind of the Raid style, you know, impactful, but also in a funny kind of way, you know?
To the point where it's like so painful and so violent that like there's elements of flinching and laughing at the same time.
It doesn't quite reach the levels of that, say, to the Raid 2. Yeah. Where like, because those movies, like, because they're more indie, I would say, they can afford to be a more gruesome, I suppose.
It's Hollywood, right?
Yeah, it's Hollywood. But like, I mean, just the sheer quantity of action sequence. And I mean, like, it's like the John Wick series is still quite a violent movie. And to put, I mean, John Wick 4's budget was $100 million. Props to like putting their faith into these, you know, filmmakers. Because there's not a lot of these kind of big budget, hyper violence action series.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the last time we saw anything that was kind of set to this was maybe Snake Eyes, which was, you know, I'm not going to get into that.
Gray Man.
It's the Gray Man. The Gray Man was. Oh yeah, the Gray Man had a stupidly big budget, but I don't know how much it was.
Yeah, but the Gray Man didn't quite like it didn't hit that itch because it just didn't commit, I think, to like the graphicness of it. Not like say a film like Extraction did, which was also like a great movie as well.
Extraction was great.
As well.
But like Extraction didn't make it to the cinemas, whereas John Wick, all 4 of them, you've got to watch them in the theater. Like, it's really quite an experience. As you were talking about before, when he's punching the dummy, and you hear like the sound design like rumble through your body, you're like, this is gonna be an awesome movie.
And yeah, like even outside of the action, like the sheer style of this film. It's like, sure, the action is on par with something like an Extraction, but like the style of it, man, it's like, it's so cool. It's such a cool film. Like you said, all the locations, like they have their own kind of unique vibe and style, and
I loved it.
And they relish in these locations as well. Like you got fucking Winston walking through the Louvre for like a minute, and just him walking. It's so cool, and like you can't really get away with that in a lot of movies, right?
That's gonna be you pretty soon,
yeah. I'm going to recreate
that. You're going to be walking through the Louvre. We actually, throughout the movie, me and Boon, every time Bill Skarsgård's character, we're like, oh, man, that's Dan. just like being rich. Just like, what like these high table people do in their spare time is just like eat extravagant food and stay in like very high class rich areas and look at things.
Yeah. He did like a lot of sugar in his coffee, didn't he? I feel like Dan is a no sugar kind of guy.
I'm sweet enough.
Nice.
French people like a lot of sugar in their coffee, don't they? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it must be like
Yeah, I mean, they like sweet things.
Did you have a favorite action scene?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, as I said before, I came during the dragon breath shotgun. Like it, the camera goes into this like floaty, dreamy bird's eye view where John Wick is like clearing out these goons with like dragon fire bullet shotgun, and it's like, it's amazing. Like I hadn't seen anything like that before, and the take goes for a long time.
Yeah,
and like you got all these like people that are on fire and are getting double tapped by dragon breath bullets.
Yeah,
it's insane, and I was just like, man, and I saw it twice. It came twice, man. Easy. I was just like,
really, some of your own dragon's breath all over that fucking
scene. I was just like, when he like he shot that first guy and he's on fire, and then I was just like,
you're like,
yeah. So it was very, it was very,
it's good.
very
and again, it's like the
satisfying,
style of that scene as well that
true.
puts it over the edge, right? Like that top down
music,
thing.
the music is cool.
Yeah.
Like the John Wick soundtrack is like. Give the soundtrack an Oscar, man. Just fucking do it. Like, you know.
It was very
music,
throwback the soundtrack.
yeah.
I felt like it was very throwback the soundtrack. Like
it was. It's been the same people, right? The music for all of the films. Tyler Bates and Joel J. Ritchie.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think they used a lot of like existing tracks in this movie.
Yeah, a little bit different.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
Like it's kind of less operatic, right? And more emphasis on like you've got like the clubby like hard styles kind of stuff, but also like some punk rock in there, right? Like
a
few covers
and
things.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. Even all that like clubby stuff was actually like I think one of the songs is like by the Crystal Method, Tavi, that we've listened to in the past.
Okay.
So like,
yeah.
I mean, they're existing songs, but they're like the quote unquote John Wick remix, which means they probably like I don't know, remastered it for like Dolby or whatever. But they sound freaking amazing on screen. They match the action scenes perfectly.
Yeah, and you can tell they're having fun with it as well, because it's like there's that bit where the DJ keeps playing different songs, and then there's like a different action scene to each of the songs.
Yeah, there's the French remix of like Paint It Black. And it suits it really well. Yeah. There's did you guys watch like Black Adam?
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. There's an action scene where they play like Paint It Black, and it's just so like just not suit the scene at all, and it's just like it's really like
forced.
I feel like it's very like corporately forced. Like, oh yeah, this is a cool action scene, and it was just like
that's pretty much Thor: Love and Thunder from start to finish, man.
Yeah, but like when I heard the DJ say she was gonna play Paint It Red, I'm like, oh, this must be like a Paint It Black remix or something. I wonder how it's gonna sound, and it sounds fucking cool, man. Like, you know, I think it's just like there's a lot of thought that has been put into
for sure, man.
Every action scene in this movie. It's not like, oh yeah, I mean like Rolling Stones is cool. I watched Martin Scorsese movie last night. Yeah, let's just put it on there. You know, it's just like it was sick.
Well, it's the same musical director as Guardians of the Galaxy, so it's pretty good.
Interesting.
They know what they're doing.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, we watch a lot of action movies, right? The three of us.
Yeah,
and like we've pretty much seen it all in terms of like what people can do to try and elevate an action scene. But I feel like when it comes to John Wick, especially now that they're in their fourth iteration, they just get it. Like it's more than just like the gun fu. It's more than just like the bone crushing kind of like sound effects. It's more than just soundtrack.
Yeah.
They know how to kind of package everything together and make it and make every scene kind of like the near perfect action scene. Really, that's what you need to be in a nearly 3 hour movie, right? Not to get people offside. You need your action scenes to be freaking on point, especially when there's not really that much of a plot, to be honest.
There's not much story.
Like you said, some action scenes stand out more than others, but even the ones that don't stand out as much, like they're really good still.
They'd be better than anything in like, I don't know, any like straight to Netflix
any Western
action
franchise,
movie. And like that's the sad thing. Action movies have kind of become kind of in the same ilk as like horror, right? That they kind of go straight to streaming. A lot of them.
Well, a lot of like old genre, like not even just horror. Like I don't even particularly like this genre, like rom-coms. But like they don't make rom-coms really that much anymore, except for Netflix. You know, there's not much of it.
Because it's like budget restraints. I think like action films in general, maybe they're not the biggest box office draw as they used to be. So studios don't really want to pump a lot of money into it. So you do get a lot of these kind of Netflix action films where it feels like all the fight scenes are done in like a warehouse, you know? Which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like you can make that work with the right kind of stunt crew. But I mean, it's like with John Wick's budget, you know, the budget that it's earned over the course of its like 3 predecessors. Yeah, like they definitely make use of it and elevate it even further than I would have been able to believe, I guess. Like, I thought John Wick 3 was like pretty big.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But
it's like not.
But this is like, it's like another level, I guess.
It is another level. But from some aspects, not all, which I'll probably touch on in the the spoiler section. But
yeah,
I mean,
what are your guys' favorite action scene though? Like, what was?
Oh shit, we haven't even got to that yet. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I guess for me, a lot of people will probably default to the last kind of stanza, which is set in Paris. But for me, it was actually the first actions.
Yeah, like the Osaka
stuff.
Osaka
kind of stuff was actually, I found actually probably my favorite, which is weird because usually when you watch, after the first action scene, you're waiting to get topped constantly. But for me, it started off super like high and awesome and was consistent throughout the whole thing. But I really loved the Osaka scene just because there was a lot of tension kind of built up towards the kind of beginning of the scene, setting up the plot a little bit as well as to why the High Table are still going after John, a lot of stuff like this.
We get the introduction of a few key characters like Mr. Nobody and Marco Zorro, that Chilean henchman. I don't know the character's name.
He was good. Yeah, he's kind of like Scott Adkins, like 2.0. Very similar.
Yeah, I don't,
very like tank.
He's done a few things that I haven't seen, but like, he's pretty low key.
Yeah, I just found that whole Osaka stanza very, tense. And I guess like once the action kind of happened as well, it really didn't disappoint. From an action standpoint, it really kind of exceeded expectations, to be honest. And like
I feel like the Osaka scene is like a climax to another movie in itself.
Yeah, it's comparable to the climax of John Wick 3. Like it's very similar.
It looks super. It looks nearly exactly the same. After watching John Wick 3 somewhat recently, just as a refresher, the climax of John Wick 3 and the start of John Wick 4. They kind of connect almost in a weird way. Maybe that was intentional. You never know. Yeah. But
maybe because like when you bring out the climax of your predecessor in the first like 20 minutes of your new film, like like when I saw that, I was like, whoa, okay, how where are they gonna go from here?
Gonna top this?
Yeah, and I mean they go places.
They do, yeah. I thought the Osaka scene was awesome, and I really liked that they introduced a bunch of new characters in kind of like that period of the film as well. So yeah, I got to say
big
that.
Fan of clumsy nunchucks. That's probably my favorite. My favorite bit of the film is fucking clumsy nunchucks.
Keanu, that's what they introduced in this movie that hadn't been in the previous movies. Freaking nunchucks.
Yeah, nunchucks.
And they did it in that. I mean, they did it in as good a way as they could possibly have done.
I've never seen nunchucks and gun fu like brought together before. Like it's not something that you would even conceive of, right? And then they're just let's do it. It's like you just find some nunchucks and just goes, I'll use these, I guess.
Having experienced nunchucks firsthand from a friend. It doesn't seem.
Are you talking about the big Korean friend that we have?
Yeah. Maybe. They're not the easiest thing to wield, so I suspect they take quite a long time to like. It takes a long time to hone the skill of nunchucks. Like in movies, it looks fucking easy because they're making it look super easy. But these, I mean, it's like. I don't know, it's two sticks on the end of a chain. Like, it's not the easiest thing to like master like overnight. And I think Keanu Reeves manages to make it look believable. And I mean, I'm sure a nunchuck expert would be able to pick holes in it, but the fact that he's gun-fuing people at the same time and brutally murdering people kind of like makes that a moot point.
It's true. Yeah, I think Osaka is probably my favorite action scene as well. I think it's just as well like the introduction of Donnie Yen's character, and like he gets a moment to shine in that scene, and also Hiroyuki Sanada's character, and he gets a moment to shine. Yeah, Donnie Yen eating the ramen in the kitchen.
It's very anime.
Oh yeah, very anime.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
Sitting in silhouette and eating ramen while there's a gunfight going on. I was just like, man, this is awesome. Like these guys, like Chad Stahelski has watched action stuff from Asia, and it's like, man, like good on you, man. Culturally appropriate away, man. It's all good.
He does that trick with the motion sensor ding dong things that you see in restaurants. That's fun. There's a lot of fun in that scene. You get to see Rina Sawayama do a lot of stuff as well. That's cool. Like,
she's kind of like, her fight is like a lot of crawling and like slinking through legs and shit. It's funny archery. How like because you know how she's fighting like the marquee dudes and they're all like the beige suits. There's like 99% of them are guys, and the one girl that came along with them has a fight with Rina Sawayama. It's like, that's, I guess, that's inclusive. And then she gets shot in the face. But that was cool. Like for someone who's not trained in martial arts and not acted before, like good on her. Like
she was
cool
she was really. I thought she was
scene.
fucking awesome in this movie.
Probably worth a spin-off.
Well, hopefully. We'll see. We will see. Because we don't really know what's in store for the John Wick universe after this, right?
Well, there's already a confirmed one called like the Ballerina, which is based off the ballerina that you see in the start of John Wick, who's like keeps fucking up.
Yep.
But
that's in Parabellum, isn't it? Or is it the first one?
It's in Parabellum, yeah. So it's Anna Diarmas is playing that character, and she's getting revenge for the murderers of her family. And I think Winston and Keanu Reeves make an appearance in the film as well.
That's pretty hardcore getting Anya Diarmas in this movie, because she's like... Yeah, she's A grade.
The money, man. They got the money.
Yeah, she's A grade now. And she's a good fighter. She was pretty good in No Time to Die.
Yeah, she was great. Yeah, she was good. I think she probably just enjoys doing that kind of stuff, because like, I mean, in all the other movies she's in, it's like characters seem like pretty heavy. She's like, I just want to like kick people and like not get my tits out.
Well, she's got that other movie with Chris Evans in it. Ghosted.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that.
That looks like a bit more of that stuff as well. Kicking and shooting.
Kicking ass, Not sure how I feel about that movie.
It looks okay.
Like, it looks okay.
I feel like she actually likes doing that stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like she's probably done a bunch of like, because Spanish cinema is like pretty like heavy generally. So she's probably come up doing that stuff. So it's like time to have a bit of fun now. I got nominated for an Oscar. I don't give a fuck.
You probably get addicted to the endorphins as well. To an extent. You get addicted to working out and training. Yeah,
and she's like
I've watched a lot of like videos of Keanu Reeves training in the past couple of days. A lot of
He's okay. Let's just take a moment and just remember he's 58.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I think Donnie Yen's 59.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Donnie Yen looks a lot fitter than Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, come on, man. He's Asian, man. Come on.
Like this whole movie, I was like, oh man, Keanu Reeves' knees must be hurting so bad.
They're fucking
like
hurting.
He's walking up those stairs. Like even when he's not fighting, just walking up the stairs, I'm like, oh man, gotta put some ice on those things.
It's true. But you know, when you're an actor, roids. Like you can legitimately do roids. Like you can
all that HGH.
Yeah, you can actually do roids and like recover.
I don't think Keanu Reeves would do roids. I think he's got a bit more integrity than that.
He's not an athlete. He's an actor. He's definitely doing roids.
Nah, he's dedicated. He's a man of focus.
He's definitely. If I had to bet my life on it, roids for sure.
How dare you suggest John Wick has done roids?
I don't care. I don't care as long as he can keep doing John Wick movies. He can take whatever the fuck he wants. I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's doing well. He's doing well for his age.
So on that note, do we want to get into spoilers then? Any last words before we spoil the shit out of the movie?
Just watch this movie. If you haven't watched it already, just watch the movie.
Just go watch it. It's a pretty obvious thing. Like, you know, it's like,
I don't know.
It's highbrow action.
Like you mentioned your partner wasn't a huge fan, right, Boon?
Nah, she wasn't the biggest fan of the franchise. She barely remembered any of the other 3 films.
Maybe just action fans then. Action fans, watch it.
Oh, no, I think if you're a film fan, you will appreciate this movie.
Yeah, you'll appreciate it as well.
Because we've been talking a lot about the action, but it's very thoughtful. I mean, like every scene looks like a freaking Instagram photo.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like really good cinematography, like better than
Incredible.
it has any right to be honest.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but that's kind of just like the bow that they tie on the top right of this action scene that just elevates it to this level where it's like one of the best action movies ever, arguably.
Yeah. Like again, I have my critiques, but at the end of the day, none of that shit matters because it's a good time. You can forgive everything as long as you're enjoying watching the movie.
I think I've got plenty of critiques, but like I don't care at this point. I'm just like, man, I can't think of a really great contemporary action series that is coming from Hollywood at the moment. Like, what is there? The Fast and Furious series?
I think...
and Marvel. Those are the only action franchises I can think of.
Well, when I think of great action from Hollywood, I think of John Wick. So...
I think of John Wick.
So I guess that's a testament to what they've managed to do in this
like a movie made by action fans for action fans. So
but it's been 9 years. 9 years since the first John Wick, and there still hasn't been a Hollywood action franchise that has topped John Wick. You know. I mean, for us, for sure. Like, because we like this kind of stuff.
Like, they haven't really deviated from, like, the formula that's kind of garnered them all this critical praise and fanfare as well, right?
They've just added to it.
They've just, like, exactly. They've just built layers on top of it and elevated it every single freaking time. And kudos to them for doing that. Because it wouldn't have been easy after the third one.
Yeah. It's fun, Go watch the movie.
Shall we talk spoilers?
That's happy to. Happy to.
Okay.
So, Hideyuki Sanada dies in this.
Hideyuki Sanada.
He gets a one-on-one fight with Donnie Yen's character.
Japan versus China.
It's all right. Like that fight scene's all right. I think maybe it could have been better or longer. But for what it is, I think. It's a sword fight with Donnie Yen and Hideyuki Sanada. So, like, maybe I was expecting a bit too much, but I was just like, let's finish pretty quickly.
Because there's been, like, quite a few good action scenes before that standoff between them.
It's true.
Yeah, I would probably agree. Yeah.
But, like, the typical format of, like, John Wick is, like, you go through the scrubs and then you have like a mini boss fight and then you have like a main boss fight, right? So I figured like Hideyuki Sanada versus Donnie Yen maybe was like a main boss fight, but it's kind of a bit short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like a bit one-sided as well, maybe? Like not that even.
He's already wounded though.
Yeah, that's true.
Like at that point.
They had to give him an excuse to lose to Donnie Yen.
I think he's pretty fucked up at that point. So he's like, I think everybody kind of knows he's fucking going to die. Like, it becomes obvious that he's going to die at like a certain points in that action set. Like
as soon as she mentions he's wounded.
Yeah. Wounded. He's like, I'm gonna die,
It's almost as soon as they're separated, right? Because it's just like she's with Keanu lecturing him about how he's like fucking brought this to their family. And then like Hideyuki Sanada is trying to like sort shit downstairs in somewhat of a, I guess, civilized manner, but it doesn't really pan out that way. He ends up getting ninja archers to fucking surround them. Yep. So I think you kind of knew that he was going to die at that point, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but like, why did he have to die though? Like from a narrative point of view.
Like, it's really stupid because like he actually like Kane actually gave him out as well because he's like,
he's like, what does he say?
He's just like, leave and run away with your family. everything will be fine kind of vibe. Yeah, and then
Kane's like, think of your daughter or something, or protect your daughter. And then he's like, I am, proceeds to die. He's like,
because he like just charges him and
just gets killed.
So stupid.
Yeah, I feel
So
like that was a
stupid
bit
because he was
contrived.
already wounded. He could have been like, like I'm gonna get fucking ripped apart by Donnie Yen at this point anyway. I might as well just live and like. And not have this daughter that's like hasn't got a dad for like.
Do you think it's just like the Japanese honor thing?
It is a very Japanese honor thing, but at that point, it's just so stupid for him to do that. I think that was actually one of the main kind of plot holes for me initially after watching this movie. I'm like, why wouldn't he just run away from at that point? Why does he have to fight Donnie Yen?
I think it's literally just a setup for Akira's character if they want to make
a spin-off,
a franchise based on her.
Yeah. She was honestly,
it's like, you got to die somehow.
I thought she was really, really good. Like I wanted to see more of her in this movie. Like after that first, after the Osaka stanza, I was like, looking forward to seeing her again later in the movie. But then she never kind of
She just fucks off.
She doesn't really appear in later in the movie. So I'm like,
fucks off until the post-credit
Well,
scene.
I think
Exactly.
she was
So,
she was only filming for like a month, so she didn't have that much time. In the schedule,
I didn't know that.
think.
Like I thought she'd rock up later and like save somebody or like play some kind of role later in the movie. But really, she's actually It felt like she was almost a plot device to continue this franchise in some way, which is a shame because she played the role really, really well, and she was super bad.
Yeah.
And she was badass in that Osaka scene, jumping on people and like arching their shooting an arrow at point blank in their face. And she looked like
mounting someone and stabbing him repeatedly in the back.
Exactly.
Them, crawling up their back.
She was badass, and like, no, it's just like, okay, we'll use you for this part of the movie, and then it's just like you can go back to
off now.
sing songs.
I feel like her performance and her character was a bit underrated because a lot of people are singing praises to like Donnie Yen, of course, and Nobody, which they both deserve. But I haven't really heard too much from like about Rena's
really because she's not in enough of the film.
Really underutilized.
Yeah, she's
literally
not really,
only like maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably I don't know, like maybe the first half an hour of the movie. Really, maybe even less.
She only really has 2 action scenes. Yeah, like when she shoots the arrow and when she's like crawling up the guy and slinking around and stabbing him in the back. Yeah. That was really cool. I was like, man.
She was awesome.
For a first role, it's like, goddamn.
The fight on the rooftop is pretty cool. It was just bow and arrowing people in the legs and pinning them to walls. That's nice.
She was awesome.
Well, hopefully she gets a chance at a spin-off. You never know. And speaking of like characters that are kind of like plot devices, what do you think of Mr. Nobody? Like, do you think like he earned the amount of screen time he had in this film? Like from a character point of view, you know, like he's kind of like just an ex machina for John Wick to get out of sticky situations.
Yeah.
He does do that. He does do that a lot.
I thought he was really good. I liked his character personally.
I didn't buy his motivation of like saving John Wick to drive up the price, but then agreeing to make a deal at like maybe $10 million more, but then like, I don't know, it's just something that, like, it seemed very arbitrary.
It's true, but then John Wick saves his dog, right? And then like it changes like his entire perspective on how he views John Wick. Because maybe it's like, at that point, it's like, I like this guy, but I'm willing to forego the fact that I like him for 26 million or whatever the figure is. But then when it gets raised to 40 million, but then at the same time, John Wick happens to save his dog, it's like, it's like this, it's this moral kind of decision, which way he wants to go, and he ends up saving John Wick. Which is kind of what you expect.
I think.
I mean,
and I guess you need a character with a dog in it as well.
Dogs biting crotches. Yeah. So much crotch biting.
I mean, I think his character is
so
cool,
and
I think the performance is cool. But it's like he only really shines once when he's in the house scene, and he like lever action rifles a few guys. I thought, that was really cool. I wanted to see
There's
more
no
of that.
prolonged action sequence with him, hey? It's,
with him.
Yeah. Which is a shame because he's got a cool design. Like he's like a kind of cowboy vibes, right? With the lever action and the revolver.
Yeah.
But like I think he kind of is just Deus Ex Machina because he's kind of just there, like in all the scenes where like I feel like the character's purpose is kind of a little bit shoehorned in because like during the Berlin scene with Scott Adkins, you've got Donnie Yen is there for a reason, and Keanu Reeves is there for a reason, and it's like, oh yeah, this guy's outside.
And he's like, there, and it's like I don't know if he earned the seat at that table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's the tracker, so he knows
too.
wherever John Wick's going, right? Like that's kind of his vibe.
Yeah,
like he just
but
knows.
like, why would they bring him to the seat? It's kind of like it's like a guy who is just out loitering. Like you'd be like, fuck off. Or something. He's like, no, we'll bring him in. I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, like
I don't know. Like he's cool. I like him, but I don't know. Maybe they could have done more with his character, and like it kind of felt like maybe they were just kind of setting up a potential spin-off as well.
Yeah, his dog is kind of like just biting people's like dicks.
A lot of dick biting.
The dog bites a lot of dicks in this movie, and he mutilates a lot of penises in this movie.
If you were training an attack dog, that would be the first move you teach it. It's the dick bite, straight up.
Wouldn't you ask it to go for like the jugular or something?
No, the dick is easier to get to because you can like you can disable them.
It's like an instant
because the jugular you gotta jump up.
I mean, in John Wick, in Parabellum, there's a lot of dick biting from Halle Berry's dogs as well. So I guess
I think that was a better use of dogs as well in Parabellum.
I feel
like maybe maybe even the dog was underutilized in John Wick 4.
Yeah, I think so.
The dog is a pretty key like plot point, I suppose, in John Wick 4 in the sense that like it saves John Wick at the end because because the tracker kind of changes his mind, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to kill John Wick this whole time. And then when John Wick saves the dog, he's like, okay, I'm going to save John Wick, and kills the Marquis.
Kills the Chilean guy.
Yeah, the Marquis like right-hand man.
The Chilean guy.
Pisses on his head.
Oh, yeah.
Very undignified.
Very undignified. A lot of laughs from the cinema too. God damn. Yeah.
Classic joke.
Yeah, dog pissing on somebody's face. It's true. What way can we what way can we undignify this character even more?
The dog could take like a shit on his face. Like the dog like diarrheas on the guy's face. That'd be pretty like undignified way to go. Do you remember in Japan when we saw that dog diarrhea food? That was fucking
gross, man.
Imagine that on the guy's face, just liquid bucket, toxic
just
liquid
all
dog
over
feces. That oh man.
Come on, Chad Stahelski. Like, come on, have some cojones. We want to see dog diarrhea in part 5.
Dog diarrhea.
Yeah.
I will have to say this as well. I mean, like, we probably should have mentioned this at the start, but like, rest in peace, Lance Reddick.
Holy shit.
Yeah, yes. He was a key character for all other films, and I wanted to see more of him in this movie, but I mean, his character is killed very early on. And when I saw that, I was like, fuck, damn, man.
It's very poignant, isn't it? When he gets killed off in this movie. It happens so early. Like, he's barely got any screen time at that point. But there are some kind of very fitting lines, I suppose, from following his death. So, it's quite fitting at the same time as it being kind of a little bit too premature.
Definitely a shame. By all counts, a really nice guy as well, Lance Reddick. So R.I.P.
He's always like the best in what he does. Even if he was in that like piece of crap Resident Evil, he was the best. He
definitely was.
Everyone agrees.
The only good thing in that show was Lance Reddick. But I think he's going to be in the Ballerina as well. I think that might be one of his last film role.
Okay.
Oh, so they've already filmed it.
Yeah, it's done.
Oh shit! I didn't know.
I didn't know it was done.
Yeah.
I think that, as well as the limited TV series The Continental, about Winston's rise to power. I think they're both done. Just ready to
snap!
go.
That's pretty
but
cool.
obviously, that will be younger actors.
Yeah.
because it's like a prequel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's very respected. I mean, he plays very upstanding kind of characters. That's kind of his vibe, right?
Yeah, like in The Wire. Yeah.
A lot of dignity.
Lot of dignity. That's probably the right word. Yeah, I mean, in the two scenes where where he dies, and then the gravestone scene, they're really, even though obviously it wasn't planned at the time, they really quite fitting kind of send-offs for this guy who's obviously quite respected by the community and as well as the production crew as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good on him. To lift the mood back up again. How much did you enjoy like Lawrence Fishburne's like super over the top theatrical? I forgot about his like super long live the king. It's like,
having a lot of fun.
It's like he's having so much fun. He's not in this movie that much.
He's
either,
barely in it.
Every scene that he's in is like it's very Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah,
Just
it reminded me of the Matrix. It was a throwback to because I think he has a lot of these kinds of like monologues in the Matrix. You know what I mean?
He's not doing the action anymore. Definitely hasn't been working out. Like he's not on roids, is he?
How old is Lawrence Fishburne? Let me find this out. He's 60.
Isn't he like
he's 61? So he's a little bit older than Keanu. Yeah. So I mean, like.
Yeah.
He could be doing some action, but I mean, I wasn't hankering for it.
He's not his character anyway.
That's not his character.
He gets
just there to mug, basically.
Using like a pigeon attack, like commands these birds.
that would be fun, actually. I wouldn't mind
He
seeing
gets
that.
fucked up in Parabellum. Like he gets like slashed 7 times by Mark Dacascos' character. Yeah. So like he's probably not recovered from that. To be fair,
I mean, there's a lot of people like having a lot of fun with their characters, like Donnie Yen as well is like doing some fun stuff.
Where are you, John?
John. He's like, fuck off.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Iconic.
That got a lot of laughs. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, weirdly, very weirdly comedic scene. Yeah, and great comedic timing.
And I think that's like a lot of the fun of John Wick as well. Like there's these characters that are just a lot of fun. Like even Mark Dacascos' character from Parabellum is really fun. I think it's pretty similar to Donnie Yen's character in their attitudes. But I just liked how he was like a weird fanboy for John Wick.
But this is controversial, but I feel like Donnie Yen in Hollywood movies, much worse actor than Donnie Yen in Hong Kong movies. Maybe that's just the way that it's packaged, but like I liked the character in John Wick 4, but I felt that some of the acting from Donnie Yen was really quite questionable. really bad.
I thought his acting was quite good.
Oh, I thought he was terrible.
I liked a lot of his his movements as like a blind character. I thought was quite interesting. There's a lot of like. He's kind of like a little bit awkward when he's moving around.
Yeah. I felt like the way he delivered the dialogue was really quite like not believable, but that's just me. Even though I really liked Donnie Yen.
Well, I mean, Keanu's not the best actor either. So some of Keanu's deliveries are really awkward.
But like, if Keanu didn't have these one-liners in this movie, you'd be like, oh, I wish there was more like moments.
Like the scene where he's like getting choked up by his family in the head. That's like some pretty not the best Keanu Reeves performance.
He's actually gotten worse, I think. As an actor,
he's just embracing the fact that he's not going to win. He's embracing the fact that he's not Daniel Day-Lewis, pretty much. You know what I mean? Like he's Keanu Reeves. People love him because he's Keanu Reeves, which is fine. And
it's kind of sad that this kind of dedication is not acknowledged as like a form of filmmaking. Like, I mean, the amount of effort, like there's obviously different criterias when you're comparing like why Daniel Day-Lewis is good and why Keanu Reeves is good. Like, yeah, sure, like, you know, Keanu Reeves acting is not the best, but just like the amount of just like preparation and like him doing his own stunts at 58 years old, you know, it's just like, I mean, I'm sure he doesn't do all of his own stunts.
He's not Tom Cruise.
It's just impossible. He's not Tom Cruise.
He's not CGI.
He's not CGI Tom Cruise.
He's not CGI.
Please.
Remember his full title, CGI Tom Cruise, sorry.
But imagine a CGI Keanu. Imagine.
I've seen it. Cyberpunk.
That's true.
Speaking of CGI, you know the bit where he when he falls down the stairs, yeah? Is that CGI?
No,
or did he actually fall
it's
down
not
that
CGI.
many
I think it's a
stairs?
stunt double at that point.
Yeah, probably.
But even a stunt double, do you think he fell down that many stairs in one go? Or because like,
Yeah, man.
I don't care who you are. You're getting fucked up if you're falling down 3 flights of stairs like that.
Stunt people,
like, you know.
stunt people get fucked up, Tommy. That's their profession.
Yeah.
They're professional guys getting fucked up on
true.
a daily basis. And girls too.
Yeah,
like I
fuck
saw
it.
behind the scenes of
Yeah.
John Wick 4 where like the stunt guy, it's the Osaka scene.
Yeah.
And the stunt guy like falls from the second floor onto like an escalator, like a set of stairs.
Yeah.
And then like
I saw
Rina
that too.
Sawayama and John Wick like comes down the stairs and then they yell cut and the guy gets back up.
Yeah, it's fucking
and I'm
insane.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How the fuck did he do that?
Yeah, I reckon another friend linked me that clip, and I was like, if I was director, I would just, if I didn't like the guy, I'd just fuck around and be like, nah, we need to do that again. Sorry, that was shit, man. You fucked up. Your foot was just at slightly the wrong angle. We might need to do that again. Sorry, bro.
Yeah. I actually didn't press record. Sorry, man. My lens cap was on, man. I'm sorry.
No wonder it was dark.
Exactly. But I mean, you're right. There probably should be some kind of category that acknowledges this other production side of things that's not like a costume or like sound. I don't know what would you even call it, Tavi? You're the film guy. You're the filmmaker.
I don't know. I mean, like, because I mean, honestly, like the MTV Awards had like best fight choreography or best
fight.
action.
I remember that. I remember like
but like
I remember what's it called? A lot of the Lord of the Rings fights being nominated for that shit.
Yeah.
Gandalf.
But how could you categorize it in like a highbrow way that the Oscars? Well, they became highbrow again this year. Last year they weren't very highbrow at all.
I mean, you could do best
how
stunt
would you package
choreography,
it?
surely.
No, but I guess
so.
the action movie pool is very shallow, right? In terms of like,
because there's just so much shit action movies, big tentpole action movies that are really shit these days.
I mean,
so
to be
it's really
fair,
hard
like the
to
Mission
pick, like, a
Impossible
good one.
franchise is doing quite well.
Yeah.
true,
That's true.
and
So
then
Mission
you've also got
Impossible,
like these perpetual franchises like Fast and
I mean,
all
even
that
like
other
Top
stuff.
Gun Maverick as well.
Yeah.
So like, how could you categorize? Because like, there should be some recognition because there's so many action films. There's a lot of good ones and a lot of really shit ones as well. So I don't know. Like, you might be right.
Did Top Gun Maverick get a Best Picture nomination?
Yeah, it got Best Picture nomination.
It won sound, right? Yes, it did. It won sound,
No.
surely.
Oh yeah, no, it did win
Yeah.
sound. Yeah, it did. Yeah, I thought All Quiet on the Western Front did.
Yeah, it won
think that was
sound.
a different
So
one,
I mean,
different
people do
award,
acknowledge these more, I guess, like technical aspects of the film. So
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I know how would you wouldn't call it stunts, right? You'd call it something else where it's a little bit more broad. Because I mean,
Best action direction?
yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like something like John Wick should be able to get acknowledgement for, because
But then you'd have to do like Best Horror Direction, Best...
I guess so.
I think
Yeah.
Oscars have never liked genre movies. I think that's been like a criticism. Like they don't acknowledge like a lot of really great horror performances. I mean, like straying away a little bit from John Wick, just like talking about like Mia Goth in Pearl. Like that was like a big snub from last year. But like because it's a horror movie, it doesn't get really any recognition. But no, let's just make a Best Cheer-worthy moment and bring fucking Army of the Dead, like a pretty average crap movie, which also has Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
He's in a lot of stuff.
So, I mean, I think a lot of these action movies are in a lot of stuff that you kind of don't remember, right?
Yeah. Should we talk about the climax, like the finale of the film?
So yeah, Kane and John Wick, they do Pistols at Dawn. That's a pretty cool setup.
Yeah, they do a duel, kind of like the Barry Lyndon style.
Yeah.
But,
Very cool.
Bill Skarsgård is like the French pussy guy who nominates Donnie Yen to shoot instead of him. But John Wick gets fatally wounded? Question mark?
Yes.
So,
you don't know, right?
So, yeah.
So the last time we see him, he's collapsing on the stairs as we're panning out.
And bleeding to death. And then there's a scene afterwards where they're at his gravestone and his loving husband on the gravestone, what he asked for. But at the same time, they allude to the fact that the notion of John Wick is dead, but John might actually not be dead, right?
Yeah. So, what do you think? Because for me, when I watch this scene, this is supposed to be quite an emotional moment. So when he slumps over, and you think, okay, he's just passed out because this guy's body has taken quite a bit of punishment.
I felt nothing.
And then it's you see his gravestone. It didn't hit really at all. I was kind of just more surprised. I was like, oh, he's dead. But I think they kind of do it in a way where I feel like he's not actually dead. As you said, Boon, the idea of John Wick is dead, but we don't know if John has faked his own death because of the way that Lawrence Fishburne and Ian McShane have this exchange. It's kind of like you don't know if Lawrence Fishburne is being metaphorical or is saying, oh yeah, where do you think he is now?
And the whole point of the movie is for John Wick to get his freedom, right? And at that point, he's free. He also may be dead, but at the end of the day, all this high table shit is past him because he's won the duel, right?
Yeah.
So, it's it's bittersweet. It's a bittersweet ending, but weirdly, at no point did I think that he'd actually died, even though.
Me too.
I mean, he's obviously very old. He's 58, so to bring him back again.
Yeah.
How long was it between 3 and 4? A while, right? 4 years? 3 years?
2019. Yeah.
So if they're going to wait another 4 years, he's going to be pretty fucking old. So
and they've mentioned the original plan was to film 4 and 5 back to back or concurrently.
Yep.
But then they decided to focus on 4. And now I think they're going to take a break. This is Chad and Keanu. They're going to take a break before coming back and seeing if they have any more stories to tell about John Wick, is what they've said. I mean, I think they designed this ending to be a stopping point if they need it to be, but also open-ended if they need it to be.
Very
I think
convenient.
that's the weaker part. I think it's quite a weak ending though, because
it's a bit too neat, huh? It's kind of he kills the Marquis, and then the guy's all right, you're free. Also, Donnie Yen, you're free. Your daughter's free. All right, and we'll just let this go, I guess. But so I don't know. That's my main criticism of this film, not as a film itself, but as a stopping point for the franchise. Yeah, it's a bit. Arbitrary. It's a bit odd. I
agree.
It's a lack of commitment, I think, because they're I think we should open it because there's a lot of fucking money to be made. So it's I feel like if they had kind of had the ending of John Wick dying and just they could have made that moment a lot more impactful, I think, just to really hone in that this is the end of John Wick's story. But I don't feel it's the end of it, and then it's kind of it really depends if Chad and Keanu are oh nah, I've had enough. You're dead now. So that's it. You're actually dead. It's kind of a little bit disappointing, I think. It's just kind of just teasing a bit. Yeah.
This movie as well, he kills the elder, right?
Yes, right at the beginning.
And then that they put a hit on him and stuff. And then he kills the Marquis at the end, and then they're just like, all right, I guess we're good now.
Yeah, you're good, yeah. Because like, doesn't the elder sit above the high table?
That's his role. Like, he's like the dude that's like, he's the only guy that's like above the high table. They're setting up to this like fucking badass, and then chops off his finger and shit. Then he just goes to Morocco and like shoots him in the head.
I rewatched John Wick 3, and there's like a quote where they're like, what is the quote? The Italian guy says it. He's like,
the guy from Game of Thrones.
He's like, the elder is not a man you find. He can only choose to find you.
Yeah,
and then the next movie is like, oh, there he is.
Chasing him on a horse. It's like, oh, well, that was easy. I could have just done that. He just found him.
It's true.
Like,
That's true.
Yeah, I think they had kind of written themselves into a corner with that character. It's very much like the Paul W.S. Anderson equivalent of writing a clone army and then realizing, oh shit, I don't want to CGI a bunch of clones. We'll just kill them all in the start of the next movie. So it's basically, I don't want to put those two franchises on the same
But you still
level,
don't know a lot.
You
still don't know a lot about the high table, right? Like, I don't know shit about the high table.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They can still build out this universe quite significantly, as I said, by using these young antagonists as well. It's just like, obviously there's some older guys who've been around the high table for a lot longer than them.
But I wanted to see like Keanu fight like high table people. And I think because they're trying to keep this universe alive, that they didn't.
Yeah, like, wouldn't it have made more sense if the elder was the big boss of this film?
Yeah, because like the Marquis is not even higher than he's just another guy. So
he doesn't even fucking fight the Marquis. He fucking shoots the Marquis when he doesn't expect it.
Like a hero.
Yeah.
Consequences.
He doesn't even want to, like, so this whole movie is meant to like builds up to this, like, one-on-one combat thing. And he doesn't do it. Fair enough. He's doing it with like this guy that he's known his whole life.
Yeah.
But then I still thought there'd be an element of like hand-to-hand combat with like the Marquis.
Yeah, true. Because you got Scott Adkins' character who's like obese, but he can like do like cool moves. And then the Marquis
literally just gets shot in the head, and it's just like, and it's just like, then Keanu dies like 30 seconds later, a minute later.
Yeah.
And it's just like far out.
But
man.
I mean, in the John Wick movies, it's usually like the big boss is usually one that doesn't fight, right? Like in the first movie, it's like Alfie. What's his face? Game of Thrones guy.
Alfie Allen. Yeah. Theon Greyjoy. Yeah.
He just gets shot like a.
Just gets shot.
Yeah. Like
but then he fights his dad, which is like a little bit lackluster.
He does fight an old man, an old Russian man.
And even in John Wick 2, like, he fights Ruby Rose, which is like lackluster as well, in my opinion. So it was in John Wick 3 where we got like a really proper good like final fight, I think, because he fights the two guys from the raid, and he fights Mark Dacascos. And yeah, I think you're right, Boon. I would have liked to have seen like a really like epic final fight, because it kind of feels like he's just killed a bunch of goons, and then it's like, okay, that's cool. Like, I'm running up the stairs, and then it's just like, oh, okay.
There's just no, like, really justification why this Marquis guy is such a badass, besides the fact that he chops off the nobody's finger.
There's like a hint of it.
He stabs nobody's hand at some point. Early on in the movie, but, like, he doesn't seem like a badass, aside from the fact that, like, he's, I don't know, he's affiliated with the high table.
He's just a powerful man.
Yeah. So, like, he's got no skill. It doesn't appear to have any skills. Whereas, as you said, Mark Dacascos in Parabellum is clearly this badass sushi chef that, like, you know, they're built up for the entire movie because he doesn't really fight until the end. Until he fights Keanu at the end.
She's just watching his students get killed. Like, John.
Exactly. And I think I got to say, this really ties into one of my other main criticisms of John Wick 4, in that they maybe relied too much on the gun fu aspect and less on the martial arts aspect. But that I mean, that makes sense considering Keanu is like 58 or whatever.
Yeah.
But like...
Really? I thought there was a lot of like hand-to-hand.
So the Berlin stuff is
preceding the final fight.
It was mainly... It was a lot of gun fu. Like, when I was watching it, I felt like, oh, I wish like there was a bit less gun stuff and more like him beating people up like with his bare hands. Because like I think the climax in Parabellum is him against the two Indonesian Salat guys.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's a lie. Before that, he fights like two other guys that are like kicking the shit out of him.
Yeah, like the wushu guys or something, yeah.
Yeah, these wushu guys that are like kicking him through glass. It's fucking badass, actually. Like they kick him through like multiple glass like fixtures in the scene, and it's like super cool. And then he fights the two Indonesian guys hand to hand.
Yeah.
Then he fights Mark Dacascos one hand to hand, and like that was like super cool to me. And then in chapter 4, he doesn't really have like a really cool
martial arts
one-on-one martial arts moment. It's all gun fu. And honestly, I feel even Donnie Yen is mainly gun fu in this movie, which is kind of wasted because like Donnie Yen can still obviously do all that hand-to-hand stuff, and it's what he's known for. Like, yeah, Donnie Yen is not the gun fu guy. Donnie Yen is like
the hand-to-hand guy. Yeah,
the hand-to-hand guy. But like in nearly every scene in this movie, he's
shooting guys.
He's tapping shit with his stick and then shooting somebody.
I would have liked to have seen like.
Where are you, John?
I would have liked to have seen like a big Donnie Yen Keanu fight, because there is one that's in the Osaka section. And I thought, like, oh, it's a duel. So, like, when they say duel, I'm thinking, oh, maybe they're actually just going to fight. But it's like a duel, like old school style. Pistols at dawn.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But, like, I would also have seen, like, yeah, you're right. Like, you've got Donnie Yen, like, one of the finest martial artists of all time, you know? And you've seen that Keanu can do the physicality of it, like, with Mark Dacascos. Or maybe they rewrote the scene because Keanu couldn't do it. Maybe he was just, like, too spent. But yeah, I think you're probably right. Because like I really love gun fu. Like gun fu is like it's like a guilty pleasure of mine. Yeah. So there's a lot, but like I think you're probably right. There's not too many of like the hand to hand stuff. I can think of Donnie Yen versus Hiroyuki, and maybe Rena's.
But that was swords, right?
Yeah, swords. Yeah.
In the Champs-Élysées scene, isn't he like fist fighting a lot of people?
Yeah, in Berlin he fist fights and axes a lot of people. But
he's got a gun a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like I think to kill, he's pretty much only like one-on-oneing Scott Adkins.
Yeah.
But all the like goons, he's like shooting them in the neck and shit like that.
No, I think most of that is hand to hand. Actually, no, you're right. When he's going through the club, he's shooting a lot of dudes. Yeah.
He's shooting shitloads of people.
Yeah.
And in the Champs-Élysées scene, he's shooting a lot of people in that scene too.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And when he's not, it's not really fighting. He's kind of just throwing people into cars.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I would have liked, because I would have liked more hand-to-hand kind of stuff personally, because like, I mean, you know me, Tavi, like, I really like these movies like The Raid and The Raid 2, where there's not as much gun fu. Like they're shooting people, but like the main action element is definitely like the fighting.
Yeah.
And I think with John Wick 4, they really made it more about the gun stuff,
the gun fu,
rather than the fighting stuff, which I guess kind of makes sense because Keanu's a bit older. But then again, you did have Donnie Yen and like Hiroyuki. Oh, they're also old, I suppose.
They're both pretty old.
Everyone's fucking old.
Everyone's fucking old. Yeah. I don't think the appetite is really there to see any of these new characters that they've introduced in a spin-off. Like me personally, like, even though I found a lot of the new characters really cool in this John Wick 4 setting, I'm not sure I'd be like super excited to see Rina Sayama's character, Akira, is that her name? Yep. In her own standalone movie, the tracker in his own movie. I mean, like, they're really cool characters in this specific setting, but from a spin-off standpoint, I mean, like, yeah, I might watch it if, like,
it wouldn't be John Wick though, right? It wouldn't feel the same as watching a John Wick movie.
There's so much at stake, right? Because you've seen John in 3 other movies getting his ass fucking beat, and like even though, I mean, at the end of the day, it's about his dog and a car from the first movie. Because you've seen him get his ass beat for 3 movies, it's just like there's so much on the line. Like, this guy just wants his freedom, and like that's why this movie was. I mean, the plot is secondary, but like his motivation is still right there the entire time. Whereas like all these other characters, like if they spin off, I mean, like, yeah, sure, like your dad's dead, you want to get revenge. Cool, but I've seen that a billion times. Tracker, you're cool, but now that John's dead, what's exactly your motivation? I don't know. I don't know enough about you as a character. It's just like, I'm not. The appetite's not really there for these other characters. So, I'm not sure what they do. I'm really not sure what they do.
You definitely watch John Wick 5 over any of that shit, right?
Fuck yeah.
So, I think it depends. Like, if when they make it and if the story is good, that's it really. Like, it needs to have a pretty. Because the thing about John Wick is the first John Wick has a very simple but like really good story as well, and a very like clear motivation to root for the character, and then just like spinning, keeping that going for 4 movies is like, it's easy to do after that like really strong story. So you're probably right. I'm not sure if Akira's story is that good, because you've seen a lot of like my father, I will avenge you, father kind of stories. And I mean, that's basically what they're doing with the ballerina anyway. So, yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Like, will people still be interested in an action movie when you don't have like a cool old guy in it?
Yeah, that's true.
What I mean?
Who would be like from this, like, Statham's getting pretty old.
Statham is old, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's like late 40s. Jason Statham.
Late 40s. Fast.
Get Scott Adkins.
Scott Adkins is like 46 now. Yeah.
But he's got no star power, Scott Adkins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I guess so.
Jason Statham is fucking 55, dudes.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, he's 55, man. He's fucking old.
Yeah.
So it's like, who's like the 30s to 60, like 50 action star?
Adam Driver.
You know what? I'm here for that if that ever happens. But like,
he's all right. Yeah.
I mean, like, in all these really good action movies that have come out in the last, I don't know, 5-10 years, it's always kind of older guys, isn't it? Like, that's like the main character.
Like, Tom Cruise, Keanu Reeves.
Tom Cruise. I mean, like, Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling is getting there. He's getting older now.
Yeah. Fuck. Jesus Christ. What's that? Bad. Nobody.
Bob Odenkirk.
Bob. Have you watched Nobody? That's a fucking sick movie, man. That's a really good fucking movie.
Yeah, but like, that guy's really old too. Like, that's kind of the appeal.
That movie nearly killed him.
Yeah. He
fucking had a heart attack making that film.
Exactly. But that's the appeal, right? Like, it's like these old guys that get beat up, and like, but they also happen to be badass. Whereas like, maybe like the appetite isn't there for like seeing someone like young and like kind of
you'd
cool.
have to bring on someone older, like a more
it's just cooler
to take on some kind of role.
Like Bruce Willis and Sylvester Stallone and Schwarzenegger were making action movies. Weren't they like pushing 40 by then already, or push past 40?
Yeah, but like they're doing Expendables now, right? Which is all old fucks.
Yeah,
and like that's what it's built and that's what it's built around. The fact that
except for the latest one, which was like, they brought on a new team,
that
right?
Which I hate so much.
Yeah,
I hate whenever a young team is brought on.
I don't know how I feel about the next.
I forget who, but who? I remember. Was that the Ronda Rousey one?
Yes, Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
They had such a good fucking setup as well. They had Mel Gibson as a villain. Wesley Snipes is coming in. How can you fuck that up? And they did. And I remember watching it and like, Just like all the cutting away from the violence, like, nah, man, like, Sly, you don't know your fans. Like, you don't know who you're making this movie for. Yeah.
Stark contrast to John Wick 4.
It's true. Maybe people just like seeing older guys like get beat up. Like, you know what I mean?
That reminds me that when I was watching John Wick, I saw the trailer for this Liam Neeson film.
Oh my god!
It looks so generic.
God.
It's got like the most generic title as well. It's called like Redemption or something.
Revenge.
Is the poster like Liam Neeson pointing a gun? Seriously?
Yeah, probably.
No, but like
just looking stoic.
But why has Taken done so well, right? Like, you could argue that Taken is like a pretty successful action franchise as well, right? All things considered.
Not really.
There's been 4.
I think it's successful
three of them?
in that it steered the course of Liam Neeson's career for the rest of his career. There's been that over and over again.
There's been 3 of them, right?
But like people don't like that series though. They like the first one.
But how can you justify 3 of the same kind of movie unless people like wanted to see an old guy being badass, shooting people.
But like a Liam Neeson movie is its own genre, isn't it? I mean, he's just making the same. Yeah, like a Liam Neeson.
I think this old guy thing is. I think I might be onto something.
Denzel Washington. I think it's called with the Equalizer.
Yeah, it's called like old man action. It's like films for your dad.
Action.
You know?
I think there is a term.
Yeah, dad action.
Yeah.
Yeah, like look at Nobody, right? Like Nobody's another example. It's very similar to I felt like it was like a cool Taken, right?
Yeah.
They're all they're all like retired badasses, right? Yeah. And then something motivates them to come out of retirement. Unfortunately for John Wick, it's lasted 4 movies. Fortunately for us.
Fortunately for us, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe a 5th, but I don't know. I mean, I said this after the end of the 3rd one. So I don't know how they're going to top the action scenes. Like, yeah, it's pretty. Like, it's a hard thing to do. Like, you need at least 2-3 years, in between. To just like
and a lot of fucking steroids, right?
Yeah, a lot of steroids.
Dude, they just need to get everybody on the gear, and get them ready for John. Get them on the gear now.
Knees.
Get them on the gear now, so they're ready for John Wick 5. Because you know how I said all that stuff about not wanting to see a movie with the tracker and Acura and all that kind of stuff. If John Wick himself is
in it,
and like a part of that storyline and that world building, I'm here for it. But I'm not sure if
that'd be good. Yeah,
I'm not sure if I'm really here for it. Other than that, to be fair, I mean, I'll go see The Ballerina. I mean, it sounds like that's filmed already and coming out soon. So why not?
I like Anna Diarmas, so I'll probably go.
Why, Tommy?
Yeah.
Oh, she's a very good actress, man.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
She was very good in Blonde. Yeah.
You never know, it might be good. The ballerina might be good.
You will say she was good in No Time to Die, right? She's pretty badass in that.
Yeah, she's good at But it's not Chad Stahelski though, which is an issue. I think it's like Len Wiseman. Who did like the Underworld series. So I'm not sure.
Hit or miss, to be fair. Not all bad.
It'll be a make or break. If it's shit, then like you're gonna be seeing articles on why the John Wick franchise didn't is stale or some shit. Like like you'll see all the stuff that people will say about Marvel these days, but it'll be about John Wick. Which is why I usually like universes to close and end and then just like but it's too much money to be made, I guess. But I mean, if it's good, as long as it's good, then that's all right. Like I'll watch it. But if it's shit, then I'm not gonna watch it.
What action spin-offs have actually been good though? You know what I mean? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. What about Snake Eyes, Tavi?
So bad.
I haven't seen it yet. I saw it just hit. It just hit Netflix, so I might check it out.
It's like a really shit version of the Osaka John Wick. But, like, just really bad. It's like, if you want to, like... oh, it's bad. Like, especially after you've watched John Wick 4 and you've seen how good the Osaka scene is, and then you watch Snake Eyes, you'll be like, this is appalling. Like, it's pretty, like, yeah, it's bad. It's one of the worst movies I've seen.
Doesn't even have Hiroyuki Sanada in it.
It doesn't have
It's true.
It's got fucking Iko Uwais, man.
I feel like
Iko Uwais.
every time I've been on this damn podcast, Snake Eyes comes up. For some reason, Snake Eyes always comes up. So it must be either really, really good or really bad.
It's our inherent love of Henry Golding.
Yep. It's true. Opening up Hollywood to Asian cinema, right, Tav?
He's an icon. Yeah. Do we have anything more to say about John Wick?
Yeah, I think.
I
think we're good. I think we're well spent.
This has gone a while, hasn't it? Holy shit!
We talked for nearly 2 hours.
Fuck. All right. I mean, that's a testament to like the movie itself, right?
Yeah,
and
how good.
And the universe, and maybe elements of us really liking action movies as well.
Yeah.
But
I would be genuinely sad if this was the last John Wick film.
I think so too. I think I would want to see another one because I feel like, as we said in the ending, it just didn't really. It doesn't feel conclusive.
I don't feel like he's dead, man. I don't think
he's dead. Yeah,
like,
I don't think he's dead, but Keanu might be too old to make another one.
He's fucking old.
Like,
yeah.
No, he's actually dead. Yeah.
Well, you can leave the gun fu stuff up to him, right? And then you can like introduce some other actors for the martial arts portion, which is what would be really cool. That like really.
I mean, we didn't even talk about the fucking post-credit scene that you guys didn't see.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
well.
Do you know what happens, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, Akira rocks up with a knife and approaches Kane, right? And then cuts to black. Yeah. That's the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
They'll probably have a fight because like Kane does say he's expecting her, so it's like you'd assume that there's some kind of a brawl.
Yeah,
but like I don't know. I wonder if like, do you think that particular scene, if it did play out, like would have led to one of their deaths? And therefore, like, closing a franchise?
Probably end up as one of those, those fight scenes in John Wick where it's like mutual respect, so they don't actually die, but they get grievously injured, and then
like the jewel.
That's what it felt like the entire time, right? Like that entire jewel scene. I mean, would you watch a franchise called Kane with Donnie Yen? I think we would, but I don't know if everybody else would, because obviously we like Donnie Yen and his character's like super cool in that movie. You could actually choreograph some really cool scenes with Donnie Yen, like being blind, gun-fooing people.
Yeah, it's a good setup.
Yeah, but like I don't know, man. I don't know if other people are as invested as we are. You know what I mean?
Also, Donnie Yen is older than Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, he's older than Keanu Reeves.
It might be hard for him to kind of carry like his own Hollywood movie. If it goes straight to Netflix,
Yeah, probably.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst scenario.
I feel like that post-credit scene as well is almost like to remind us of Akira's character, maybe, because it's kind of like she's like, if you don't kill him, I'm gonna kill him, and then like John Wick just doesn't kill him. Just doesn't avenge Hiroyuki Sanada at all.
There's no point in bringing her back for that last scene unless you're planning on some kind of spin-off, right? Or like something.
I think so.
I mean, like, there's no point. Like, why the fuck would you bring her back for that last credit scene unless you wanted to use her in some capacity in a later film? That's like how I feel anyway. But I'm here for it because she was awesome. Donnie Yen was awesome. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but I don't know if the appetite's there amongst like, the general, the mainstream film.
Yeah. Just get her on the roids anyway, just in case she has to come over a bit.
Oh, is she like 20? Like 20? Like, get her on the roids. It's better to start early, I guess. Yeah. Get her on the roids now.
I think she's like 32. She's not that young.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Asian.
Roids.
All right. And on that note.
All right. Yeah. What did you guys think of John Wick? Chapter 4. Did you enjoy it? Did you think it was a good capper to this franchise? Would you like to see more from this character? Let us know. You can contact us at twoasianblokes@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram if you want to see what we're up to, or you can join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation. Yeah, thank you as always to Boon for joining us for these episodes.
No worries.
Always enjoy talking action cinema with you.
No worries. I can't wait for John Wick to 5 to come out so I can join you guys again.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll come back for something.
The ballerina, like, since that's already been filmed.
Yeah,
So,
unless it's average. Like, we'll cover it if it's bad, we'll cover it if it's good, but if it's average, I'm not.
Yeah, no.
Are there enough Asians in that movie to justify a podcast on Two Asian Blokes?
That's very true.
That's the real question.
They're Russian though, right? So that counts.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But like, that's like insta cancelled, right? If you support Russia.
No, that's very true. Yeah.
You've got us there.
How long have you guys been doing this, Dan?
It's a wonder we're not cancelled already, to be honest.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
The only thing that's keeping us from getting cancelled is a lack of viewership.
Oh well. Maybe that's the wrong strategy. Maybe you need to break into the Russian market. They got a pretty big population.
Yeah, I guess they do. All right.
I think that's it for us, right?
Yeah. In the words of Donnie Yen's character in the movie, fuck off.
Fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off.